Hey guys, so I don't normally do videos like this, or at least I try to avoid them where I'm just looking at a web page and I'm reading stuff off of it, off the Konami website or whatever. But I am really excited for the Shadows of Valhalla set, which includes Valkyrie cards, Ninja cards, and I guess a few other things. I'm especially excited for the Valkyrie cards, and I haven't looked at them yet. As far as I'm aware, this is fairly new. This page just went up, so I'm going to be looking at these. I also want to give a huge shout out to all my new subscribers, putting us back over 200 subscribers. I know I've taken pretty long hiatuses on this channel. I haven't always delivered on consistently putting out content, but I really do intend to try to give it a better try this time, and I really want to start making lots of videos again. So there is going to be this one, and then within the next few days, you can be looking out for a more typical discussion video where I talk about my thoughts on Danger Burning Abyss. Now, so let's look at this first look on Shadows of Valhalla, starting with Mischief of the Time Goddess. Did a pretty good job redoing the art, was looking pretty archaic, the original. These Valkyrie cards are very old. Let's get into the effect. Mischief of the Time Goddess is a quick play spell card. Neither player can activate cards or effects in response to this card's activation. Okay. Cannot be activated as Chain Link 2 or higher. At the end of your battle phase, if all monsters you control are Valkyrie monsters, minimum 1, that's important. This card is Valkyrie specific, which I actually really like. That's huge. Send this card to the graveyard. Also, immediately after this effect resolves, skip to the start of the battle phase of your next turn. If you do, you cannot activate Mischief of the Time Goddess until the end of that turn. So this is fantastic. Mischief of the Time Goddess is a really cool card that skips until your next battle phase, skips your opponent's whole next turn, so you can essentially attack twice with everything. And they made it Valkyrie specific, which is what I was really, really hoping for. So I thought that this card could be ridiculously strong on Valkyries without giving too strong of an effect to other decks. I feel like if this card was generic, they would have had to have weighed it down with a lot more conditions. This card is pretty generic. Really just have to control only Valkyrie monsters, that's it. And really, I don't think you're summoning too much besides Valkyries anyway. If you plan to use this card, as Valkyries seem pretty good at one-turn kills. That seems to be the theme of the deck, with Ride of the Valkyries, etc. So let's scroll down here, and we can read Ride of the Valkyries. So this one is the one that I believe that special summons all of them from your hand. So Ride of the Valkyries is a normal spell card. Special summon any number of Valkyrie monsters with different names from your hand. If you special summon 3 or more monsters with this effect, you take no battle damage until the end of the next turn. During the end phase of the turn you activated this card, shuffle all monsters you control into the deck. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 Mischief of the Time Goddess from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Ride of Valkyries once per turn. Wow. So, that's pretty good. Giving you the ability to spam the board with a bunch of Valkyries in your hand, which is pretty strong. Let me check. All monsters you control in the deck. So yeah, you have to clear your board, but you can lay out all your monsters. You can search Mischief of the Time Goddess. See what they say. Ride of the Valkyries special summons all your Valkyries from your hand. The drawback is that they return to the hand during the end phase of that turn, but only that turn. So if you skip the end phase of that turn by using Mischief of the Time Goddess to fast forward the game to your next turn, then your Valkyries remain on the field permanently. That's an excellent point. If at any point you activate Mischief of the Time Goddess, even if you failed to kill them that turn, all of your Valkyries stay on the field, which I think is a really incredible interaction. And I love the way they decided to design these cards for the modern game. I think a lot of people were very critical of how they thought Valkyries were going to be, how good they were going to be. I think that, we still have to read the monsters. I think they could still end up being pretty mediocre. But the way they designed these cards for the real-life game is really smart, and I'm really happy with the way they've done it so far. So we have 5 monsters. Let's start with Drite. I believe they're all fairy lights. This one's level 4, 1000 attack, 1600 defense. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one Valkyrie card from your deck to your hand, except Valkyrie Drite. You can only use this effective Valkyrie Drite once per turn. Gains 200 attack for each of your opponent's banished monsters. Alright, so this is pretty much just Stratos. It does have a hard once per turn, but if it's normal or special summoned, you can search any of your other Valkyrie cards. Keep in mind that it's just a card. It doesn't even specify monsters, so you can go grab Rite of the Valkyries with this card. Let's talk about Valkyrie Dwight, which is level 5, 1600 defense, 1600 attack. If this card is summoned, you can target one monster your opponent controls, destroy it. Alright? After damage calculation, if this card battled, you can target one continuous spell in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use each effective Valkyrie's Dwight once per turn. Seems interesting. I think we'll have to see what the continuous spells actually do, but pretty interesting. If it's just summoned, you can just target a monster and destroy it. Yeah, targeted destruction isn't amazing, but just having super generic destruction in an archetype is never terrible. Let's go on to Erst. It is level 6 with 1600 attack, 1800 defense. If this card is special summoned from your hand by a spell effect, so Ride of the Valkyries, you can target one Mischief of the Time Goddess in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Wow. If you control a Valkyrie monster other than Valkyrie Erst, quick effect, you can banish one monster from your opponent's graveyard. Then this card's attack becomes equal to the banished monster's original attack until the end of this turn. This seems like a ridiculous card for one-turn kills. You know, if you destroy a high-attack monster, such as, you know, just like, for example, Danger Bigfoot with Dwight, you can then banish it from the graveyard with Erst and have it gain 3000 attack. And it added a Mischief of the Time Goddess to your hand. So that means that this monster would be like, if it was able to banish a big monster like Bigfoot, like, say, 3000 attack, you know, that would be 9200 damage. Erst by itself, in many matchups, could simply just be lethal. Forget everything else. Forget all these other cards you could summon. I think Erst could be really ridiculous in tandem with Rite of the Valkyries. Next we have Brunhilde. Brunhild. I don't know. I'll have to figure out how you pronounce these. This is level 7, 1800 attack, 2000 defense. Unaffected by your opponent's spell effects. Gains 500 attack for each monster your opponent controls. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can have this card lose exactly 1000 defense. And if you do, your Valkyrie monsters cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. Probably not going to be random multiples. I could see it being a one of. It's just kind of an interesting out to large boards. I don't know if they have 4 or 5 monsters, it's going to be very large. I think, moreover, it could just be a way to protect them from battle. I don't know. I think that's kind of interesting. I really don't think Brunhilde is going to be played very many copies of at all. If you play any copies, I think the first 3 were all very good in their own ways. I'm a little lukewarm on this one, but we'll see. Fortune Chariot. It is a fairy union. We haven't seen a union in a while. It is wind and level 6. It's 1000 attack, 2000 defense. It says this card is also treated as a Valkyrie card. Okay, so it's still searchable. And can be summoned by Rite of the Valkyries and doesn't prevent Mischief of the Time Goddess from being used. Once per turn, you can either target one fairy monster you control, equip this card to that target, or unequip this card and special summon it. That's typical for a union. If the equipped monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, destroy this card instead. The equipped monster can attack directly, but when it does so, using this effect, the battle damage inflicted to your opponent is halved. Okay. So, it's interesting. I think kind of like Brunhilde, I'm a little lukewarm on it. I think it could be fairly interesting. Not my favorite card for sure. I think it has a lot of interesting synergy with Erst, because she can raise her attack a lot. So even though her attack's being halved, she can still hit for quite a bit of damage. Maybe a 2 of max. I can't really see running too many copies. It just doesn't have a lot of synergy in some ways because it's wind. Like, it's still fairy. I don't know. Interesting card. These effects speak for themselves, but check back tomorrow to see Siegfried's continuous spell cards in action, Scold, Verdande, and Urd, to give you the power over the cards in your opponent's deck. Oh, that sucks. I thought we were going to get to look at them today. But yeah, so here's kind of the first look at Shadows in Valhalla, the first look at our Valkyrie cards. I think this is a very solid base. I'm not too optimistic about the continuous spells, to be perfectly honest. They didn't seem to do a lot in the character duel at NAWCQ. Just kind of, they seemed like just sort of extra. Like, they didn't do a whole lot. But if they can have some very potent effects, I think that would be very interesting. If they did something besides the, like, banishing cards from your opponent's deck. Like, you set it, and then, like, you guess it, and then it gets banished or whatever. I don't remember exactly how it went. But if they did more than that, I think this deck has a lot of potential. I'm still very excited for it. I absolutely love what they did with Mischief of the Time Goddess and Ride of the Valkyries. I don't think they could have done a better job with these cards, quite honestly. I don't know if they're going to be exactly what the deck needs, but just reading them, they seem like fairly well-designed cards. Mischief of the Time Goddess, again, keeping them just to Valkyries. Not making the card too generically ridiculous, but giving them a little bit of extra oomph to make them a more potent deck without completely breaking their monsters or making them about something that they weren't really originally. Because I know all these designs are roughly based on the old ones. That's my understanding. So, yeah, seems pretty cool. Tell me in the comment section below what you think of the Valkyrie archetype. Are you excited for Valkyries? Are you excited for ninjas? Are you excited for more danger cards? What are you excited for in the future is really, I guess, what I'm asking. I'd really like to hear. Again, thank you for 200 subscribers, and I will be coming out in the next couple of days with a Danger Burning Abyss video, and I might kind of make an amendment to this video with an additional video looking at the continuous spells, just because I'm really excited about Valkyries, and I really want to share with you guys my first reactions. So until then, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.